Special with Max and Trevor.
Welcome back. Aside from the last two games where he's been picked off 3 times, interceptions haven't really been much of an issue for Ty Simpson. He's got just 4 on the year.
Yeah, but sacks and fumbles are another story. Starting with the Missouri game, the quarterback has been strip sacked in 5 straight outings. Now, he did end the streak against Eastern Illinois, but he threw 2 interceptions. Alabama has only lost 2 games this season, and Simpson was strip sacked in both. He'll need to get rid of the ball quickly against the Tigers defense that has 28 sacks and 6 forced fumbles this season. One of the most glaring issues for the Tide all season has been the ground attack, or the lack thereof. As a team, Alabama's rushed for more than 1,300 yards, but their leading rusher is Jam Miller with just 410 yards and 3 touchdowns. Daniel Hill leads the team with 5 rushing scores on just 46 carries, and someone's going to need to get something going if the Tide want to keep rolling in December. And then lastly, they need to shut down the deep pass. The Tigers have several talented wideouts highlighted by Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton Jr. Alabama will need to limit their chances in a game where the Tigers will likely be looking for the end zone a lot.
We know Auburn has the home crowd on their side, but what else will they need in order to pull off their first win in this rivalry since 2019? These are my keys for Auburn. Number 1, you gotta get after Ty. We saw him pick apart teams like Georgia and Vanderbilt when he had time to sit back there, make a picnic and throw, but Oklahoma got in there and made things ugly and forced turnovers from their pass rush. Auburn has the ability up front to win some matchups. They need to get after him because Alabama also has a big advantage when it comes to their offensive playmakers versus the Tigers secondary. That brings me to my next key. Keep eyes on Jeremy Bernard. If he lines up in the backfield, chances are they're running some sort of trick play with number 5. He can catch, he can run between the tackles, he can even throw passes, so you have to have a plan for him at all points of the game. Finally, on offense, just keep playing loose. The last 2 games, it looks like they're actually having fun on that side of the ball. They've been getting the ball out quicker and getting the ball to their playmakers. If offensive coordinator Derek Nix can just keep the game plan simple, dial up touches for Singleton and Coleman, Auburn might have a chance to move the ball. But hey, don't get too loose because the Crimson Tide defense is a turnover-hungry unit. If you had to pick 3 players that have the potential to make the biggest impact in this game on the Crimson Tide side, feels fairly obvious who pick number 1 would be, Max.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything starts with Ty Simpson. While the quarterback is no longer in the Heisman frontrunner conversation, he's already put together one of the most impressive seasons in Crimson Tide history and can cement his case with a strong finish. If Simpson can play a clean game, the Tide should win. And with that goes Jeremy Bernard, as you mentioned. Many expected Ryan Williams to be the favorite target, but it's Bernard. He leads the team in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. A threat as a receiver, a runner, and even a passer. Look for Bernard to get the main target share at Jordan-Hare. Now, everyone knows the importance of special teams, especially in games like this. That's why Connor Talty is going to need to step up this week. The kicker has not had a great season, kicking just 61% of his attempts, including 2 misses on attempts under 30 yards. Talty has made just 2 field goals in the last month and will certainly be called upon on the Plains.
From Bo Nix to Nick Marshall to Cam Newton, Auburn often needs a legendary quarterback performance to win the Iron Bowl. They'll be counting on Ashton Daniels this time around. Now, he's only started 2 games for Auburn, but he's actually played a lot of football. He was a 2-year starter at Stanford and led the Cardinal to upset wins over Colorado, Stanford, and Louisville. So he knows what it's like to play in this spoiler role. Helping his case, he gets to throw the ball to that guy, Cam Coleman. Auburn's offense is always better when they get the sophomore involved. He had 143 yards against Vanderbilt, making spectacular grabs even when he was covered. He'll be one of the most talented players on the field Saturday. They just got to feed him the football. On defense, Xavier Atkins always finds his way to the football. He should be an all-SEC selection for a season that includes 81 tackles, 7.5 sacks, and even a 73-yard interception. The LSU transfer was a great find by DJ Durkin and his staff. He can play coverage or rush the passer like a heat-seeking missile. He's been an excellent complement to other defensive standouts like Keldrick Falk or Kieron Crawford. Now, strange things happen at Jordan-Hare Stadium. You hear that all the time. Some people even say supernatural forces are at play. That's right. I decided to dive in and find out more on if the stadium is haunted.
Jordan-Hare Stadium. Those 3 words elicit awe and